DoorDash is trying to get us to accept every order. Since the beginning of DoorDash, their one goal has always been to get drivers to accept every single order. Now, they've gone about trying to get Dashers to do this in a variety of different ways. So in this video, I'm going to be going over the 4 ways they're using right now to try and trick Dashers into accepting every single order. Because, they have to get those garbage no-tip orders delivered somehow. Otherwise, they're just sitting there at a McDonald's for hours. And then you have customer complaints, and that is definitely something DoorDash does not want. So the first trick that they used to try and bait Dashers into accepting worse orders was the Top Dasher program. Now, the Top Dasher program, a lot of you guys probably know, in fact, probably all of you do. You have to have a 70% acceptance rate and have completed 100 orders in the past month. You also have to have a couple of other different rating metrics met, but the main one is the 70% acceptance rate. And the way DoorDash is different than all the other apps is they actually don't allow you to dash wherever you want, whenever you want. But with apps like Lyft and Uber and even Grubhub, you can go out whenever you want and there's no areas. You can just go drive around wherever you want to and get orders. But with DoorDash, it's different. And they did this specifically to bait Dashers into accepting more orders. And so the biggest incentive with Top Dasher is that you don't have to schedule out your shift and you can go out whenever you want and you can switch zones whenever you want. That was the first thing they did. And it actually worked pretty good. I do think being a Top Dasher is well worth it. You don't have to schedule your shift. You can drive around wherever you want. It's a lot easier to multi-app with. And I do think there is a slight edge that you have on receiving orders. If it's a tie between you and another Dasher, you guys are sitting in like the exact same parking lot, let's say, I do think the Top Dasher gets the nod when it comes to what orders DoorDash is going to send to that person. The next thing DoorDash implemented was the Priority Dasher, which was essentially if your acceptance rate got up to 50%, then you would start receiving some priority when it came to the orders you were getting. And then once you hit 70%, you would get even more priority to the higher paying orders. Now, I tested this out over and over again, and I actually did see that it made a little bit of a difference. I'll actually play the video for you. We're seeing if this new priority subscriber rewards program can help you out in the morning. This is our second day of doing a test. The entire day, I ended up going 8 hours and I made $193.15, but then I also have to factor in the $10 I got for that cash delivery, which makes it $203.15. And if we just take that amount, then I made over $25 an hour for the entire day on a Thursday, which is really good. That's better than I normally do. So I think I am seeing a slight uptick in my hourly rate ever since this new program got released. But if we also want to factor in the $26 worth of pizza I got, then that bumps up the pay to $229, and that's about $28.60 per hour. So however you slice it, it's still an increase in pay so far that I'm seeing. So this did work once again. It got people to accept more orders, and in return, you got a little bit more priority to some of the higher paying orders, which were about $2 per mile. And let's just face it, that's what every Dasher is after. Those $2 per mile orders are the best ones you can get. Now, after this, they implemented something that's pretty recent, and that would be the Earn by Time feature. Now, I also tested this feature as well, and this one is a complete scam, in my opinion and in my area. We always have to remember when we're talking about DoorDash, it is very market dependent. And so when I'm talking about these things, I'm talking about my area specifically. But I did do Earn by Time, and I found that they just send you all the no-tip orders, and you're just stuck accepting them. Because when it comes to Earn by Time, the only way you're getting paid is through your active dashing time. If you're sitting there waiting for orders, you're not getting paid. And then when you get an order, you don't see how much the base pay is. You don't see how much the tip is. And so you're just stuck accepting it. And you don't have that freedom of selection like you would with Earn by Offer. And so I thought things would actually end here, but they didn't. DoorDash now implemented something. It's just in New York City for right now, but I do think we will see it across the nation, maybe in the next year or so. And that would be they are getting rid of pre-tip orders. And now the customer tips after their food's been delivered. So I think this is the final nail in the coffin when it comes to getting Dashers to accept every single order. And I'll explain why. It's because now with this new feature that's rolling out, every order is going to basically look the same. So the way it works with DoorDash, supposedly, the way they calculate the order pay that the Dasher will receive is based on a couple different factors. One of the biggest ones is the desirability of the order. So basically every single order starts off with a $2.50 base pay, and then you see the tip. And then if that order continues to get declined over and over and over again, then they'll raise the base pay to $3, then to $3.50, then to $4, and so on and so forth until that order gets accepted. Now, the problem with this new after delivery tip that they're implementing is that I guess every single order is just going to show $2.50. And I don't know if you decline it, is that going to raise the base pay? And would everyone not just keep declining every order because they're all going to look pretty bad? Or are they going to implement a new way to structure that base pay? Or do they just not care at all and expect Dashers to just accept every order now and they will all be $2.50, and then you'll just be taking a gamble on the tip? Because that is what I think they're actually trying to do, is to have every order look the exact same, and then there's not going to be one order that's more desirable than the other, so you're just stuck with taking it and rolling the dice, hoping that your service is good enough to get you a big tip. So if this is the case, then I think DoorDash might actually achieve their end-all be-all goal, which is to get everyone to accept every single order that comes their way. And if that's the case, I do think we will see a lot of Dashers quit, because one of the best things about DoorDash was that you could kind of game the system, wait for really good orders, and base your pay off of that. But if DoorDash doesn't do something to their base pay structure, then I think this is going to be a big problem, and a lot of Dashers will just leave and maybe do Uber and Lyft. Now, I did want to talk about Uber and Lyft for a second here, because Uber and Lyft has always been doing this. They have the customer tip after they've been dropped off, and depending on how good your service was, will usually determine if you get tipped or not. But the difference with Uber and Lyft is they have a very different base pay structure than DoorDash. It's not just based on desirability of the order, whatever that means. It actually is a very thought through algorithm, which I like a lot more than DoorDash's base pay structure, because you get paid based off the miles you're driving, and based off of the time you're waiting for the person, and based on the minutes it takes you to actually complete the drop off. So in this case, I really think DoorDash needs to change how they structure their base pay immediately. And if they don't, a lot of Dashers might quit. So I just made this video to make you guys aware of this, because I truly think that DoorDash is trying to get every person to accept every single order. And I'm just curious to see what the DoorDash community is going to do about it. It's very interesting to me, because it seems like every 6 to 12 months, DoorDash is changing something. I mean, the whole app looks completely different than what it did a couple years ago. So it's interesting to see how DoorDash is continuing to try and change things, how they're trying to get DoorDashers to do certain things. And we're going to have to adjust our strategies based on the changes that are coming up. So leave your comments down below. I'm curious to see what you guys are thinking about all this and what your guys' new strategies are with all these new things rolling out. Check out this video over here, and I'll see you guys in the next one.